In part one of my program on goal setting, I looked at how the brain memorizes actions and patterns of belief in order to work at peak efficiency. So in part two, I'm looking at another system that the brain has, and this one is with our survival in mind. And this is how we react in response to fears. It's our stress mode, if you want to call it that. So in order to best explain it, if you can imagine a beautiful David Attenborough documentary set on the African plains, and there are some gazelles happily munching grass. All of a sudden they sense that they are being watched. So what happens is this survival method that the brain has kicks into action. It releases chemicals that prepare us for defense. So in the gazelle's case, it's going to be run to safety. So once they sense that the danger is imminent, they will run away. When they feel safe again, the system switches off and they go back to happily munching grass. Okay? The human brain works in very much the same way. It is the same system that's in place. We release the same chemicals and it prepares us for defense. The only difference is that unlike the gazelle who forgets the whole incident, we don't. We remember, and as we remember and as we think about it, we continue to release all of these stress chemicals into the blood system, which leads to anxiety. Okay, so this system was put in place to help us to survive at a time when we were on the lunch menu. Okay, so how does it affect us now when we're setting goals? Well, the whole point of setting goals is to push and to challenge ourselves. And in order to do that, we need to move out of the comfort zone and into the unknown or into a scary place. And when we do that, what are we going to do? We are going to bring up fears, and the fears will trigger the stress response in the brain. So much like in the first video, I discussed that tug of war between having beliefs that don't support the actions that you want to take. If you are looking to push forward with goals that you've set for yourself, but the brain in its best effort to try and keep us safe is pulling you back, it makes it very difficult. So how do we prepare ourselves for that? First of all, we need to know what these fears look like in the real world. And for most of us, they will be excuses, the reasons why we can't do something, or procrastination, putting it off to another time. If you're an employer and you see employees that are, they're able to do an awful lot more, but they're not, you can't motivate them, you might see this as disinterest or even laziness. So they do look very differently to what fears would in the African plains. Okay, and another very common one is compare and despair, and that is something that everybody has done or will do at some point in their life, regardless of how successful they are, where we are setting goals for ourselves and we look at other people who've maybe achieved theirs or they're on the road to achieving them, and we start to despair and we start to think, oh, I'm never going to be able to do it, I wouldn't be as good as them. Okay, so once we know what fears look like, then how do we deal with them? Okay, well, the first thing is you cannot attach too much of your self-worth to any end outcome of any goal that you set for yourself. Okay, goals are about challenging yourself and pushing yourself. They're not a determination of the value that you should hold for yourself. And one of the ways that we do that is by removing the word failure from our vocabulary. That word brings nothing good to the table. Every time we push ourselves out of our comfort zone, regardless of the outcome, we challenge, we grow, we learn. So nothing is a failure. It's always a learning experience. Another way that we can overcome our fears is to focus on somebody who will benefit, even if it's in the smallest way, who will benefit from you challenging yourself and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. Okay, and often when we do that, it means that we get out of our own head and we kind of get over ourselves a little bit. And the last thing that you can do to overcome your fears is to just do something. Do anything that scares you, that makes you feel a little bit uncomfortable. Bearing in mind that when you set a goal for yourself, in order to achieve the end goal, there are going to be a lot of small steps that you need to take to reach that. So you have to begin at the beginning and just do one small thing that makes you feel uncomfortable and that scares you. And the more you can get used to feeling like that, the easier it is going to become to challenge yourself down the line. Just do it. And the best of luck with it. Okay? I will be back soon with part 3 in this series on goal setting. Talk to you then. Bye.